Doing it's time to go into our next best of 3. This result is super important. So GuMiho currently 0-2 in map score, 0-1 in matches. aLive is yet to drop a map in this group. So if aLive wins 2-0, he is first. If aLive wins at all, he is first place in the group. If he wins 2-0, then GuMiho is probably out because Stats will have a better map score than GuMiho no matter what. If GuMiho takes a map, then it should come down to tiebreaker. If GuMiho 2-0 Yishi. If GuMiho wins... No, if GuMiho... It doesn't matter, like... Yeah, sorry. So, I'm getting confused. So, if aLive wins, like, GuMiho's just out completely? Yeah, if aLive wins, GuMiho's out completely. If GuMiho wins 2-0, then he has a better map score than Stats, and I'm not sure about aLive. In fact, I think Stats has a better map score than aLive as well. So, like, anything can happen. This match is really important. It's really hard to, like... The round robins are just so hard to, like... tell the results of, like, unless you assume like what happens against GuMiho, Yishi and so on. Like, it's better to just sort of figure it out as we go. So guys, let's do this. The bottom left hand side, our red Terran player for some TvT action right now is going to be GuMiho. He sits down to the bottom left hand side and he's going to be going up against the blue Terran player. It is aLive down here to the bottom right hand side of the map. We're going to see what's up and what is happening. Reapers on the way from both players here in the early stages. Command centers dropping down. Gas first Reapers so that factories can come down nice and quickly afterwards. That'll be happening in the next couple of moments. So factory will start up from GuMiho. Factory will start up from aLive as well. And those buildings on the way here in the early stages. Setting up, looking to see what they can get up to right from the get-go as this Reaper pops out. And GuMiho will just start to move across the map with his Reaper. So will aLive. Neither player SEV scouting, but both player opting for the horizontal scout first with their Reapers. GuMiho reaches the middle faster, but nice from aLive. Gets the first shots off, and that first Reaper is in a lot of trouble. aLive going to benefit then from going Reactor as a follow-up. GuMiho will actually benefit from going to Reaper follow-up though as well. Is he actually going to lose this first Reaper though? That's a huge loss. I mean, another Reaper on the way out, but will have his CC delayed, and well, aLive might actually even still get a better trade on this other Reaper because his Reaper is still pretty healthy here. He sees the Reaper of his opponent, turns to fight, grenade goes down, forces his opponent away, turns to fight again, it's pretty close. He actually sits in the grenade, will lose his Reaper. So Reaper for Reaper, but he does kill an SCV as well. aLive should be happy with that. I mean, you know, at this point he's got a Reactor up, which means he's actually reactoring out Hellions, whereas GuMiho is going to build one at a time. And that's going to create a nice little position for aLive. You know, it's going to set him up nicely here in the early stages. Rack's going to start building up this tech lab as well, as we see Marine, Hellion, and Reaper all just start to top this ramp. And there's that tech lab from GuMiho about to finish on up. So, looks as though it could be a super fast starport here on a tech lab. I mean, not really much else you should expect, I think. I mean, you're not going to start up Sim at 3 minutes of a TvT. It doesn't quite make sense. So, I'm going to see this Hellion is on the way out, and the starport just going to lift onto that tech lab. And just going to be able to really just go into Cloak Banshees nice and quickly. Same thing coming in from aLive, though. With Hellions coming out early on, it looks as though he'll produce a few more of these. No, going to actually lift up and swap away, move on to the tech lab with the factory as well for some Cyclone/tank based defense as a follow up here in the in the very near future. So these Hellions from aLive going to be moving over to the left hand side, and he's actually going to run up a ramp into 3 Hellions and a Reaper and a Marine. Not the best trades, and he does just about lose 1 Hellion there in the end. You know, it's one of those moments where you start saying anything is going to happen, it looks as though it's not going to happen. And he managed to save it because it does still go down. Poor Hellion is lost by aLive, but not the end of the world. As we see Raven actually coming up from GuMiho. So defensive opening from GuMiho. We'll see if he goes, not even going to go counter Cloak, just going to go Viking as a follow-up. So super defensive from GuMiho early on. Raven, Cyclone as well. Really just wants to defend and make sure he doesn't take damage in the early stages. Now, GuMiho probably will play mech, not just because he's already taken an extra gas while taking a third CC, but also just because I think, you know, when you see a Raven coming out, it's very indicative of a mech-based opening, because the Raven is very useful with mech. You know, you can do so much with it. So I think that's kind of an expected thing from GuMiho right now. First CC in position for aLive. Here's again going. There's Cloak Banshees. His first one is off to the top side. His next one will rally through the south side of the map. So we'll keep our eyes on that as this CC starts to come in on the third base. And well, again, a few Marine Cyclones going to join up here. And you're going to see a couple of gases coming down from aLive as well. Over on the natural expansion, double engineering bay will drop down also from aLive, so just going to set up into that as again 2 Hellions to the south side from aLive, just kind of holding map control. aLive definitely going to be playing his bio then as he starts up Stim, but double engineering bay as well is obviously the main indicator. Stim, siege tank on the way out, and he will react out some Vikings. Air control will be super important in the early stages although it will actually be hard for him to contest truly up against a Raven which will have PTDs, and up against a player who doesn't necessarily have to make as many medevacs for his composition to be viable. aLive just see the Hellion count of his opponent now, and that should give him a bit of information about this, as see this Banshee is in position and picking up 4 or 5 workers already. Actually going to start backing away. I actually don't mind the idea as the Banshee comes into the main base too. Repair comes down, just to buy a little bit more time as the Cyclone comes in. We'll see this Banshee starting to get away. I think it's going to go down, just got locked onto a little bit too far into the base there, and the Banshee does fall. Banshee over here is still around, a little bit of energy left on it. I like the fact he actually saved this early on. It really allows him to kind of come back in and just do a bit more damage. Some of these SCVs are very low and are very easily targeted down in one shot, so that'd be pretty nice if you could get a couple more. 8 workers killed is not bad. It puts aLive in a worker lead, so he'll be happy with this. I feel as though the Banshees have done enough for him to look at this and say, yeah, this worked out. Double factory is up, Infernal Pre-Ignite on the way. A second factory obviously is on a reactor. Get some Hellions up, which will help a lot with the incoming kind of, with the future of his game, help him with the mid-game a lot, as we see Hellions actually running in towards this third base right now. 2 fresh mules get roasted almost immediately over here, so not the best of starts right away for aLive. Poor guy losing 2 mules, that's a lot. I mean, that's like 600 mules that just disappear, and actually, we don't have an armor yet, otherwise maybe a GuMiho could try and attack in with some of these Hellbats. Actually see a couple of Hellions from aLive, which is still around. They're actually doing some pretty decent damage here. I mean, we're talking about 7 workers just killed. That should not be happening at this stage of the game from 2 Hellions. 8 workers go down, aLive does even more damage. And if aLive just takes a map here, I really do feel as though that's him kind of secured to move through the group, because him taking a map puts him on the same map score at least of stats, even if he loses. And GuMiho will then also just be on a much worse map score than anyone else. And so I believe it would be stats and aLive to have moved through the group. So that'd be pretty interesting to see, as you see a scan comes down out of aLive. Sees these units, he's going to stem forward, he's going to try to take this fight both away from the Liberators, which is going to be very important now as well. Second tank is going to be trying to help out as much as it can, trying to find a way to lift up. He's got a tank on the low ground too, the auto turret's helping out a lot. He's going to push this away, loses another tank, which is painful, but he defends, and that's one of the main things for him right now. You see, actually, tank on the low ground maybe in a little bit of trouble. SCVs will come in to repair. Does the tank get away? Not quite. Marauder's going to come into position. They do a lot of damage to those Vikings. Okay, so this isn't fully defended just yet by GuMiho. He still has, by aLive, sorry. He still has to deal with this, so continuing to push forwards army of GuMiho. So this is kind of tough as aLive going to start repairing up his tank here. Oh, this is actually kind of brutal. Like, it's very difficult to see him sort of actually pulling away from this. We see SCVs pulling in. Here we go. Actually, Marauders are going to stem forwards as well, fighting through the Liberators. He does clean out the tanks. Oh, should probably start pulling away from those SCVs. 16 of them going down. Wow, aLive has lost so much here. Continued pressure is working out for GuMiho. Marines get rid of a Liberator in the sky, though. Another one, too. Both players taking heavy losses in terms of what's going on. I feel as though aLive sort of comes out of this in a better position still, though. I mean, still only 2 factories of his opponent. He's on upgrades as well. I like this from aLive. Obviously 2 very different compositions. Very different compositions, but still so much that can change. And still advantages, I feel, for aLive, despite losing a lot of workers towards the very end of this here. Although GuMiho has definitely done the damage to equalize the game. Maybe he isn't a slight lead. It probably isn't a slight lead, I would say, but still don't feel as though aLive is that far behind. That was scary. Like, I felt as though aLive defended well initially, but then the follow-up attack, so much harder for him to get rid of. I feel as though he could have pulled his SCVs back just a couple seconds earlier, and that would have saved him so much. So much. That would have been pretty important, actually. A few SCVs going in towards the third base. So you're going to see this Marauder coming forwards and just going to be trying to grab a few more Hellions. These few Hellions from GuMiho are going to be going up the right-hand side of the map. Couple of tanks sieging up here as well from aLive. I mean, actually, now it's maybe aLive who can get a bit more aggressive while there isn't as many tanks up. So, see how this goes. From nice scan from GuMiho already identifying this army moving his way, so he can begin to prepare, position accordingly. Liberators will make things pretty interesting as well. He's actually going to try and drop towards the main, but, well, very well scattered by GuMiho as well. Actually, scans it doesn't necessarily see all those bio units in the medevacs. First Viking shot does get a medevac to half health, but Marine stem forwards to help deflect. And there's a little bit of a dance here as aLive, trying to see what he can get done. Doesn't really find too much though, unfortunately, as now we see 2-2 upgrades still coming up for him. I mean, he's going to hit 2-2 fairly soon. More racks coming in, and just both players saturating three bases here in game number 1. Have another best of 3 in this Leifeng Cup group. Again, the playoffs of the Leifeng Cup should take place tomorrow, which should be pretty cool, pretty fun. Look forward to those. Live from, again, midday CET. I just we'll have to check that timing in the near future. I'll have to check that later today, but that's what today is for. You see the couple of Marauders coming in. We'll clean out that Hellion in the end as well. So that gets cleaned out, and again, just a bit more bio of aLive, moving around, looking to see what is up and what's good at the moment. A couple of tanks teaching up as well. These SCVs from GuMiho just going to come in and start mining away on the third base. A bit of a drop in towards the natural expansion with Vikings and, well, the Raven. Begin to shut this down pretty quickly. Only 3, 4, 5 SCVs killed. Not too many just yet. More order turrets coming down, so he has used a lot of the Raven energy at least, which is something. Still kills 10 workers though as well. I mean, actually aLive gets a bit more damage done with this than I thought he would, so turns out to be pretty okay. Liberators defending up to this top side as well, as we see another set of units moving out onto the map. Marines, Marauders, Medivacs all joined up together on the south side. A few more units of aLive going to be joined up as well. There's going to be seeing more units of aLive just spreading out in the center. For the bottom side, we're going to be seeing aLive just trying to set up, see what's happening. Free upgrades coming in from aLive now as well. Continuing that kind of storm of upgrades, something which won him a game against Stats earlier on in the TvP series he played. As you'll see that Hellbat getting taken down as well. So Hellbat gets taken down. A few Marines still up the top side. Looking to see what they can get up to. Yeah, Hellbat's just going to morph on in, and a whole bunch of units here from GuMiho just going to be spreading out, and we're going to see what they can get up to. Of course, GuMiho for the most part just wants to sit fairly defensively, move into 4 bases, and that's how mech is going to work for him here. So, just going to set up into that and see what he can do. Free upgrades coming in from aLive. Extra depot coming down here and there as well. Bio forces gathering together once more too. A few tanks just sat over here, and we do see that main base orbital actually floating out from aLive towards the 4th. So, for Bioplay, he doesn't care so much about the gas, whereas it's a bit hard for GuMiho to justify that until he gets his gas mined out in the main. In the main base, you know, he wants as much gas as possible, so he needs to make sure he kind of keeps mining over there. As we see Bio forces just collecting together on the south side. Couple of Medivacs coming in through the top side. Couple of Hellbats in each of them, of course, so some Hellbat jobs looking to try and get some damage done. These Hellbats moving through the top. We're just going to see Marines stepping forwards. Going to try and pick off one of these Medivacs here. Doesn't quite get it though. And it is the Hellbats which will survive and clean up there. No problem at all. Maxing out though. Intrigued to see where the game goes for aLive. You know, does he go into kind of air units? Does he make that switch? Or does he just continue to play with the bio? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult to see those units just gathering up together. Now he did actually snipe down one of these Medivacs. It's going to shut them down anyways, just by kind of spotting it. He's going to be able to slow this down as he also manages to pick off the Hellion here with the Marauder, which is a nice little pick off. Big drop through the south side in towards the main. I mean, he could get past his first set of turrets, he'll be good, but there's so many Vikings around. Really needs to attack somewhere else at the same time for him to really start pulling the rest of the army of his opponent out of position. Scan coming in from aLive, looking to see what's up. Might even want to just unloading this high ground and just running towards the 4th base very soon when it gets set up here. Well, Hellions run by, aLive saw them though, so quick response. Cleans up, doesn't lose too many workers. In fact, may not have lost one at all. Big bio force coming through this middle of the map. Still looking to see what's going on here as we see more units just gathering together. GuMiho still spread out. I wonder if at some point he just becomes way too thinly spread out, and that may become his issue here. As these drops going to start coming into the south side. I mean, there's too many tanks down here. So much of the army down there. This bio, the mech army spread well. He'll defend for now, and aLive, well, he starts to put his eco advantage into play. 2 more starports coming into play as he has a bank building up. And as his bank builds at this point, you know, he's really got the ability to go into a lot of starports, a lot of production, trade out a little bit here and there, and keep on expanding too. So, aLive doing everything you would expect right now. Picks off a depot to the left, gets rid of some map control. Scans coming down, you know, just little bits and pieces here. For example, some tanks dropping down, picking up a few Hellbats over in this position. But you get a stem of force with a lot of these bio units. That's a lot of Hellbats going down. GuMiho with a little bit of a mistake there, didn't quite know what he was meant to be responding to. Units to the left side as well, also looking to see what they can do. They're going to run to some tanks though, they're not going to have the best of times. Maybe a stim from aLive. Doesn't even stim, he does pick off one tank. He might get the other one too. Still 3-3 against 2-2. Marauders are pretty good as well, and they will actually kill off this siege tank. So 2 tanks going down over here. I'd say that's actually a pretty decent trade as we see these Liberators and Hellbats will get rid of these tanks. A little bit of a slow response from aLive, no pickups, even though his Medivacs were just overhead. So, slight mistake there. Also moving around with a big set of Medivacs in the middle of the map. as he goes into +1 ship weapons. Still yet to see where exactly he's going to be going with those starports. It's going to be Liberators on the way up. Nope, cancels them and makes Vikings. Going to try and take air control first, and then try and get the Liberators out to push this army back. But with 4s mixed in, not sure how successful it will be. This is really the sort of time where our Terran player is going to want to start, our Bio player is going to want to start fighting as his opponent moves out onto the map, is unsieged, etc. If he lets his opponent siege up on his side of the map, things will become very difficult here from aLive, no matter how good a flank he gets set up. So all these units here from GuMiho, you can just see how many tanks there is. It makes it so difficult for aLive to really do anything. He's going to come in for a huge flank, you know, from the left to the right. I mean, this is a huge concave. So many different angles he's attacking in from. I mean, if there's ever going to be a fight that actually wins this game against the mech army, it's going to be something like this. And you know what? It's not working. There's too many tanks. Like, I really thought it was probability, but there's just so many tanks in the back. Mech is so good. It's going to be crazy. When the patch hits in tomorrow, like, this is going to be the only playstyle we see. It's actually kind of sad. Like, there's just not going to be anything else at all which we're going to get to watch. It's kind of depressing. It's just going to be mech on mech. Kind of brutal. aLive going to drop game number 1 here. And GuMiho will keep his chances of moving through this group alive as we see a few Marines moving forwards, taking down a Viking or 2. And a couple more tanks dropping forwards as well. GuMiho with the mech play here in game number 1. He's going to be pulling out ahead. I liked aLive's position. I just feel as though he wasn't ready to move forwards when his opponent did move out. He did nothing to counterattack or anything along those lines. He just tried to take the fight, which doesn't work against mech. When there's this many siege tanks in the composition, it just doesn't work. Orbital command's being punished now as well as GuMiho has the map control, something which he didn't have for the entirety of this game. aLive is going to try and stim in once again. Unfortunately, the tanks will still destroy his units as they did a couple minutes ago. Nothing has changed, and that bio just go down and aLive. I have to tap out of this one. GG. GuMiho takes game 1. I can't figure it out. Right. I'm just going to have to kind of figure this out as it goes and see what exactly the final scores of the group are going to be. So, I'm sorry. Round Robin just confuses me too much. Way too much. Top right hand side, our blue Terran player is going to be GuMiho. Coming in here, having a look to see what's up, what's going on in game number 2. Second gas already coming down as he enters his barracks. So super fast double gas, probably some sort of Reaper Hellion based opening. A little bit different to our red Terran player. The bottom left hand side, aLive coming in. We'll be looking to see what is going to be up to as well. Alright, so setting up into this. Reapers on the way up. Factory will come down, obviously expected from GuMiho. Now aLive actually didn't even go for kind of the gas first Reaper expand here, right? He went, oh, maybe he did actually. He's got the 100 gas. Yeah, okay, he did. So he did go gas first. Alright. Well, aLive will still be playing the defensive game as GuMiho will actually expand quite quickly himself here with a Reaper Hellion based opening. He'll go 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions, and then drop the starport after that while going into Reactor Tech Lab most likely. So that's sort of his plan here in the early stages. This Reaper, first Reaper of the game, going to move on out. aLive also going to move out of his Reaper. Did win the fight last time around in the Reaper on Reaper, then picked off an SCV, then actually lost to the second Reaper of GuMiho. It was still okay. Reactor is on the way up right now on aLive and on aLive's barracks, and yeah, same build as last time from aLive for now. As you're going to see, this Reaper comes in, and GuMiho just going to start picking away through that SCV. Gets it low, doesn't get the kill just yet. Just get a better shot off onto his opponent's Reaper though. And actually losing this Reaper would be huge, of course, because aLive cannot really afford that, given the situation. Kill still keeps his SCV alive for now though. Looks as though he'll maintain this Reaper as well. Neither player losing anything. Alright, so nice little micro at the start of this. Now 2 Reapers and a Hellion are going to be coming forwards, and this is going to be a bit more difficult. aLive will have 2 Hellions though, which will be very good at pushing this back. So 2 Hellions going to be popping out very soon. Reapers will engage once again. And as these 2 Reapers engage once again is the second Reaper, which changes things here. The SCV is lost in the low ground, but the space is finished building, so it's not going to be too much of a disruption. Because now the 2 Hellions are out, and aLive has to decide if he wants to try and fight down into that. Not going to go for it just yet. Just going to wait a little bit longer. We have a Hellion of GuMiho coming in from the upper right hand side. 3 depots from GuMiho as well, just set up over here, and you'll see the starport going to be finishing up very soon as well. Second Hellion coming in from GuMiho just changed things again, but I mean 2 more Hellions from aLive, and now he's going to swap his reactor around. He's going to put the tech lab onto the factory, or the factory onto the tech lab, And so he ends up in a pretty decent position here overall, I would say. I'd say this is going to end up pretty nicely, as the game will slow down a little bit, become a little bit more passive. By the way, sorry, forgot to shout it out during after the end of that last game, but thank you very much, Arius MM, who also hit us up for a 12-month resub. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Can we get some STI hearts in the chat, please, for Arius for the 12-month resub? Thank you very much, dude, appreciate it greatly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As I see this tank, just going to be moving forwards here. Tank, Marines, Hellions, Reapers, all joined up together and looking to see what's up as a Liberator sets up over here as well from aLive. I'm just going to be seeing the tank moving forwards as well. Going to see this medevac moving forwards too. 4 Marines and a tank inside. And just looking to see what's up as we see this Reaper from aLive scatting around. Actually, these Reapers and Hellions from GuMiho need to get across the map. This attack, which is going forward with this medevac and tank, is really reliant on kind of the Reapers and Hellions also helping out. Otherwise, there's just not enough. So we're just going to be seeing these Hellions going to start moving in towards the main base. Here we go, Hellions moving forwards, Marines as well. 1 Marine gets a lot of damage onto it straight away. Viking coming in now too, going to start working his way through the medevac. We'll be able to push this away perhaps. For now, the Vikings being pushed away by the Marines, and aLive just about keeping that alive. His own Hellions come to the low ground to defend against the Hellions of his opponent. Medevac gets away with the tank inside. These Reapers should be able to hop away as well without too much further issue. GuMiho comes out of this 5 workers behind. I like aLive's position. Starts at the 3rd CC as well. That's something he's going to take a lead in. And GuMiho yet to show us what he wants to really play here, but as the gases come down, he will confirm that this is indeed going to be mech. So mech it will be, as we have a Liberator from aLive as well, also going to get set up to do some damage. And actually, what is there in terms of anti-air from GuMiho? 6 Marines? Well, I mean, 6 Marines are okay. Where exactly are they right now? They are down on the natural, so they're around. This Liberator has a lot of potential at this point, so if only aLive knew. GuMiho actually has the 2 Cyclones as well, but they're out on the map, so it doesn't really count as having anti-air at home, obviously, because it takes them so long to get back over there. GuMiho does not manage to save this Reaper, so that goes down. There's a little bit of his map control. Doesn't know about these Hellions and their position, though, so the Cyclones will lock on, and actually those 2 Hellions will go down. So a couple of Hellions going to be lost here. 1 Hellion gets up to the high ground, and 3rd base is just going to be about halfway done for now. So 3rd base is just about halfway done. GuMiho building his locations a bit more confident will make up for the difference in the fact that aLive's base is just that little bit faster. Both players going to play the bio game. We'll see the +1 attack coming in from GuMiho, but +1/+1 from aLive. Just in general, aLive with a bit of a better eco and just allows them to afford these couple of extra little things like the extra, like the extra upgrade and so on. Team medevacs through the south side of the map as Viking moves forward as well from GuMiho, looking to see what else is going on. GuMiho going to be trying to drop in towards the main base here in the next few minutes. So Marine's going to start dropping down, and a couple of tanks here as well as these SCVs continue to take quite a bit of damage. Actually, GuMiho is starting to do a lot of damage to catch up in this game. I guess one of the problems will be the fact that he's going to lose a lot of his tanks and these Marines, but still, I mean, 16 workers killed. This has worked wonderfully. Now Cyclone's in the natural mineral line as well, picking off more workers. aLive is taking so much damage out of, well, literally nowhere. I mean, this damage just came out of absolutely nowhere. As we see, his SCVs will just about manage to kill the tank before another deadly shot goes off. 2 Cyclones on the low ground still. Liberators come into play. It's killed 4, now 5 workers. That will be all it gets, though. Against 27 he's just lost. aLive is taking way too much damage here, and GuMiho is going to take the 2-0, it seems. With this lead, it will be very difficult for him to lose out now. And that's pretty crazy. If GuMiho 2-0s this, and then 2-0s Yishi, he would be, what, 4-2 in the group? And aLive would be 4-3. And therefore, GuMiho would move in over aLive, and Stats would move through too. Wow. So this is pretty crazy. aLive might not actually make it through this group still if he loses to GuMiho in this map. Of course, GuMiho still has to 2-0 Yishi as well, which would be our next series up. That TvP series between the Korean and the Chinese player. That's still to come. As you see those Vikings gathering up together here from GuMiho. Looking to see what's happening. We're going to be seeing Stimpack will be finishing very soon. And see some more Vikings of aLive moving in towards the upper right-hand side of the map. Cyclone still moving around as well from aLive, looking to see where it can go. Look to see what it can get up to as well. And 2 tank evacs from aLive just continuing to move forwards through the center of the map. As Vikings, I mean, there's just not enough Vikings here for aLive either, and that's obviously a major issue too. Loses the fight as well, 1 for 2. He just doesn't have enough. He can't do anything to kind of pull himself back into this in work account. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Upgrades on 1-1 apiece. Armory is about to finish on either side. No combat shield started from aLive. It starts up now, but it's actually still very even apart from the work account, which is just so favored for, so favoring aLive right now. It's pretty crazy. So that's the one big difference at this point in time, as we're going to be seeing SCVs. SV count at 47 to 61, 34 army to 47. Interesting. Marines and tank vacs going to be moving forward, so you're going to see Cyclone gets picked off pretty much straight away. Cyclone goes down pretty quick there. 2 Vikings get set over to the left hand side. As you do just see these tank vacs from aLive just moving forwards as well. 1 Marine also looking to see what's up and what's good as Vikings still moving around. 7 Vikings currently around from GuMiho. As we're going to be seeing a couple of extra refineries being added on as well by aLive now. So, adding on a couple of extra refineries. And still just these SCVs mining away. Tankovacs, Marines, GuMiho just setting up in the center. I mean, for him, he just needs to find an opportunity to make an attack happen. And then he's going to be in a pretty nice little position. So, just looking for that. Has to be careful though. I mean, if there's ever a matchup where you can throw a lead by just taking a bad fight, it's definitely TvT. I mean, TvT can so quickly go from one player favor to the other because tanks just drop a little bit faster and, you know, little things like that. So, it's going to be seeing these medevacs pulled back as well, and little tanks just unloading on the low ground too. Probably going to lift up once again, and again, just tankovacs, Marines, 3 Vikings looking around to see what's happening as 1 Marine gets cleaned on out. Again, just a couple of tanks, Marines just going to be doing a bit more damage as well. Tanks fire and GuMiho has to back away once again. And over to the right hand side here, these few Marines of aLive just going to be chasing those few Vikings away. So, a few Vikings being chased away right now, and GuMiho is still looking to see what's up. 2-2 upgrades finishing in just a few moments time, and still not quite able to kind of push his advantage too far forwards. aLive actually comes in, takes a Viking fight and takes a victory in that. Goes to 7 against 4 Vikings, and that's a pretty major deal. I mean, Viking advantage can actually be game changing sometimes. So aLive's still in this. You know, I've made a pretty big deal about kind of GuMiho being in the lead, and you know, all he has to do is find a good fight, but that's a lot easier said than done right now. And that's exactly what we're seeing. You know, we're seeing him unable to really take a fight. He's taking advantages in other ways, taking a 4th base, for example, in location. But it's aLive who starts up 3-3 straight away. If GuMiho doesn't start that soon, then that could be another advantage which aLive can take to try and pull himself back into this. Marine's taking down another unit in the center. So, you know, just a few bits and pieces here and there. Vikings again from aLive just gathering up together. Marines stem forwards here from GuMiho too. Getting rid of 1 Marine in the front. Another scan comes down aLive, just having a look at that army. And just see the tankovacs, Marines here joined up for GuMiho. A few more Vikings still up to the north side. 2 medevacs will move on down the right now, so just going to be seeing these 2 medevacs look to see what's going on, and a couple of Marines moving forwards as well. Still just bits and pieces. Map control really in favour of GuMiho, and it does allow him to kind of jump on opportunities, of course. And that's actually a pretty major thing in TvT. If you have the map control, you're the player who can drop ease, that you can jump into kind of location correctly at the right time. aLive moving around, his tankovacs nearby to defend this drop. Perhaps his double turret will do a good job, gets rid of 1 medevac super quickly. The other will make it to the main. The thing is, though, not too many units around as we see these units splitting up, and actually making a push from GuMiho up this ramp, but the tanks will drop, and GuMiho will take a lot of damage there on his first set of Marines. 6 workers killed, not too many by these Marines coming out the medevac, and it will be aLive to clean this up. Honestly, without too much of an issue at all. Still, GuMiho looking for an opportunity here. The Vikings, though, they're so scary because they come in, they get rid of medevacs really quickly now. So, I actually feel as though aLive, minus the flak of a 4th base, is really kind of making things happen here because he's defending well, he's cleaning on up without too much issue. His only issue is kind of getting a 4th base, I guess, but I guess his main will move towards the 4th shortly. Not ideal, but it's better than nothing. And then we sort of go from there. Vikings still sort of trying to lead the charge. Obviously, if they can just get a shot off, a volley off onto a medevac with a tank inside, it's completely game-changing in terms of how much you can pick off already. As you can see these Vikings trying to move forwards here. Tank gets a shot off though. 3-3 will kick in for aLive shortly. I wonder if it's worth him maybe busting out of these rocks to try and get a bit of a better position on the map himself. Currently he's a little bit kind of caught in, as we can see. Here we go. These Vikings pick off a tankovac. And there's little pickoffs that can do so much. These Marines over here won't do a lot. And aLive about to get that 3-3, but cannot just attack down into these siege tanks right now. Has to find a bit of a better way to engage. 4th base is building for him. As you see his tanks just edging a little bit further forwards, gathering a few units. Just a few more units. A few more units of GuMiho moving forwards as well through the center, and Still Blair's trading scans right now, trying to trade vision, trying to trade information. I'm just going to see a big stim out of GuMiho. Not sure what that's about. I mean, that's wasting a lot of his medevac energy, of course. His own free battle complete, so upgrades will not become a thing in this game. They're going to even out. Those 3 mech upgrades will be something for GuMiho that aLive doesn't have. But still, I'd say that's fairly minor as we see a few Marine 7-4s. They're not going to do much. Still GuMiho with the base advantage, and that is, again, the next big thing here, because aLive is really not mining as much as his opponent anymore, as he begins to mine out of these bases, while GuMiho still has extra bases. Oh my god, big fight coming in! GuMiho begins to just take this fight, and loses a lot of Marines in the process, not what he really wanted there. Viking count does go in favor of GuMiho now that you can see these Vikings of aLive pulling back. He knows he needs to repair these. Marines will stay forced to protect, he will be able to repair. Now it's actually going to become very even in terms of Viking count, so... Wow, what a crazy game. aLive actually has so many units over this side. Going to take down these bottom right-hand side rocks. May look to push up in this direction. Another base of GuMiho going to try and take the gold. That's something aLive really has to try and do now. He needs his own 4th base very soon. I actually feel as though he needs to just stop sitting around. He needs to do something more. Killing this gold base would be nice, but he's only got so long until it becomes a planetary, and he's going in the wrong direction, so that's not going to help him. That's actually going to be really painful, because it means that there's going to be another base up for GuMiho, while aLive is still just sat here with so little. Vikings moving forward, so he gets a shot off. He's going to try and trade Vikings for Vikings. He picks off a medevac. Nothing too crazy. He actually does find this gold base. Alright, so that's a CC kill. That's really huge, I think. You know, picking off this CC is so big. He can stim away as well. He's going to get a few Marines. They're going to get shut down. They're not going to do a lot then. Okay, finally aLive decides he's had enough. He's going to start breaking through these rocks to take a bit of a different position on the map. Scans coming down. He sees the army over here. Mostly just tanks, but he just goes forwards, honestly. And, well, he's going to push up this ramp. A couple of tanks are unsieged, and well, only 2 tanks doesn't really do a lot anyways. This orbital moving into position. Tanks are now sieged, but he just keeps on pushing forward. He's going to get into a great position over here. As Vikings come in, they are going to pick off another tank evac. A lot of tanks just sort of left alone, not really with anywhere to go at all. As SCVs pull in to repair this planetary. Is fighting the planetary the right decision, though? Probably not. I don't think fighting a planetary ever really turns out well. As we're going to see Marines coming in from behind, not able to do much because there's just so many tanks in location. And it's aLive who's really applying the pressure now. Scan coming down. It's a tank standoff still to the bottom left-hand side towards aLive's bases. As aLive still looking for a position he can take advantage of here very soon. A few reinforcements of aLive getting shut down. In fact, aLive has just lost a lot in the last few moments, where probably fighting the planetary forest, I think, because up until then, the planetary forest wasn't doing too much, but then he fights into it with Marines. That's so much damage. Now he doesn't have a way to protect his 3rd base, and his 4th base is very exposed as well, obviously, so a little bit of an awkward situation because GuMiho keeps his own 4th base alive. And with his own 4th base alive, well, he's still mining, whereas aLive is not going to be mining for as long. Even if he kills this 3rd base, it doesn't necessarily save the day, as he's going to lose a lot of SCVs over here. He just can't get SCVs over here anyway because of these siege tanks. If he can get one medevac to drop on top, that's exactly what he's going to start doing now. So essential, because without that, these tanks are just way too much of a nuisance. Finally, the tanks on siege, so you can actually come down and start to fight them. You can start to push these back, as aLive still got units over here. And it's actually going to be GuMiho pulling back now as well. So GuMiho starts to pull back now too. Both players will reassess the situation, see where they go next. Look at the drop though from GuMiho. So many units. Problem for aLive, he's also got no medevacs left. And without medevacs, there's not an easy way for him to relocate these tanks. Oh, sorry, that's aLive's units. I'm getting so mixed up with colours today. But yeah, we're going to see these units of GuMiho just going down into this location down south. We're going to see what we can do with this now. Tanks repositioning from aLive, and just looking to see where he can go next. A few Marines will unload, and GuMiho just going to be, again, thinking about where he can go. As we're going to be seeing, oh my god, GuMiho walks into a lot of siege tanks. That's not pretty, but again, it's the Vikings that might very much so just save the day here in the end. Is there a scan available for aLive? If not, he might be losing a few tanks here. There it is. The tanks get the scan. They will get a few shots off. Still, though, these Vikings making life so difficult here for aLive. How many Vikings has he got over his zone? He's got 4. Where are all of those Vikings is the question. Tank's still up on this high ground too. Tank's going to relocate over here. It's tough for GuMiho. I mean, there's no real correct way to fight on in despite his advantages. Gold base up, this base up. I mean, at least aLive does have a fresh base now. Might be worth moving into an orbital. Here we go, actually, here we go. Big fight up this ramp. A lot of Marines will go down, but the tanks will fall. Now the rest of the tanks going to drop in maybe a bit too far forwards. GuMiho are going to crush this aLive. This next set of tanks dropped in way too late, way too far forwards. And GuMiho takes it, so aLive